Clear.
Clear.
Alright, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. I know I am because today I get to look at two scary things. The first being this. If you couldn't tell, I don't grow facial hair very well. I get this, which is fine, but then everything else grows in here. And now I'm just starting to look like a horror YouTuber in his natural habitat, so that's cool. But enough about the pubes that I have on my face, and let's talk about the reason that you all came here today. If you read the title, you know that we're talking about one of the scariest and a contender for one of, if not the greatest horror movie of all time, which is John Carpenter's The Thing. This movie really needs no introduction, but in case you've been living under a rock and don't know about it, I'll break it down for you. The Thing follows a group of researchers who are isolated in the hellscape of Antarctica, and they discover an alien life form that can pretty much perfectly imitate anybody, any living being. Paranoia and distrust start spreading faster than the creature itself, and eventually, nobody knows who's human and who's an alien. The movie's about paranoia, survival, and how arson solves pretty much 90% of life's problems. I'm gonna go out on a limb, and actually this is not going out on a limb at all. This is backed by most people, but The Thing, in my opinion, is one of the closest things there is to a perfect horror movie. Obviously, this is a review. I'm gonna give it a rating at the end like I always do, but just a heads up, you're gonna hear a lot of praise here and not a lot of negative, because there isn't a lot of negative. I'm not exaggerating when I say it's a damn near perfect horror film. Perfect cast, perfect atmosphere, score, special effects, creep factor. I'm going to talk about all of it. So let's get into the positives and negatives. 99.9% positives, of course. One of the biggest and most famous things about this movie is obviously the practical effects that still, to this day, melt minds across the world and faces. These effects, done by Rob Bottin, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, I do that in every single one of these videos, but these effects like pretty much redefined horror special effects and like body horror. The creature transformations in these movies look so real. You can pretty much smell and feel them through the screen. The Thing turned paranoia into an art form. The whole film is just dripping with suspense. You don't know who's human, who's infected, or who's just having a mental breakdown because someone ate all the canned peaches. And of course, I can't talk about this movie without pointing out the true protagonist of the film, which is Kurt Russell's beard. That thing carries more emotional weight than most horror leads today. You could drop his beard into any horror movie, and it raises the stakes by 40% immediately. Wow. I'm looking at it right now, like I'm not even joking. It really is beautiful, isn't it? The score for this movie, just low rumbling dread. And what I love about it, this is one of my favorite things in movies, is when you take something so simple and make it work. It's just a minimalist, like bassy synth, but it plays throughout the movie, usually kind of like an indicator that something's wrong or the monster might be nearby or like an infected person, you know? But just this score is one of the scariest things I've ever heard in my life. It's like when I talked about Sinister a while back. It's that sound, like a score or piece of music that just makes dread creep up your back. The Thing perfected it. The Antarctic base is one of the best settings in horror movie history. It feels cold, scary, lonely, straight up terrifying. And as the viewer, you start to feel that way too, because the movie puts you in the shoes of the protagonists so well, so you really feel like you're there experiencing it with them. You're not. You're on your couch with Cheeto fingers and cranking down a six-pack of natties, but you know, it's an immersive experience. The pacing is just right and knows exactly when to explode. There's scenes where they'll just be standing there side-eyeing each other in dead silence, and next thing you know, it cuts over and a dude's chest turns into a big fucking mouth and starts eating a guy's arms. All, of course, scored by that scary-ass score we talked about earlier. The ending is one of my favorite parts of this movie. Not in a bad way. Usually I'd say that when I'm bashing on a film, but in this case, it works so well. It's the ambiguity of it all. It's two guys, a fire, and a question that pretty much still breaks horror Reddit threads to this day. And the best part that makes it so haunting is that there's no closure. You never truly get an answer. You can only speculate. The ending is absolutely top tier, one of the greatest endings in horror movie history. The weaknesses of this movie, you gotta be really, really picky. Like, I guess the pacing could be slow for some people. If you've had your attention span destroyed by TikTok, you're gonna be like, oh, get to the ooey gooey body horror monster stuff already. But for me, and people that really appreciate this movie, it makes the payoff, the open-ended payoff, so much better and so much more worth it. And it just feels like a stronger ending when you have all the build-up. Everyone is kind of miserable and hard to tell apart. It's just a bunch of guys in parkas screaming at each other like a really fucked up version of Duck Dynasty, but it does contribute to the horror element and the suspense and the tension. It just shows that these characters are kind of getting to their breaking point. And yeah, they all exchange insults and freak out, and it's whatever. But if you can look past that, it's a great tension builder. It ruined pretty much every, like, Who's the Real One movie forever. John Carpenter perfected the formula to making a film like this, and almost everything after can feel like a knockoff of this movie, because nothing I've seen that involves like body snatching or shit like this has ever topped how The Thing made me feel the first time I watched it. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, I'm a big fan of this movie. It is up there for me as one of the greatest horror movies ever. And if you haven't seen it, first of all, I just spoiled like a lot of it, because now you kind of get the general concept. However, please still go check it out. You will not be disappointed. And for those of you who have seen it and love this movie as much as I do, tell me if you agree with my review. If you disagree, tell me down below. But I'm going to give this one a 9.5 flamethrowers out of 10, which is crazy. All right, thank you all so much for watching this review. I really, really hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to take a quick minute to say that there will be a schedule change. I'm going to be uploading once a week, Thursdays at sometime in the evening, afternoon. I got to figure that out. So be expecting videos on Thursdays now. I'm still going to be active on my socials. Still going to be doing Monday Bloody Monday polls every Monday morning. And yeah, I think that's it. Just remember, don't trust anybody. Not even your own dog. All right, that's it for me. Keep it creepy. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time.